Welcome back to the City of Palms podcast, everybody. This is episode 33, and it's a special Halloween episode. You can see we still got all the decorations and stuff up and whatnot. And you got kind of a spooky vibe to you, Jake.
Yeah, just a little bit, little on the darker side of things, I would say.
Hell yeah. And we meant, how long ago were we in contact with you to do an episode? It was a while back. Yeah. I haven't introed him yet. This is Jay Saint. We're going to have him on a while back, and now finally things have lined up, and it lined up in a Halloween time, which is pretty dope.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. I'm good. If I was any better, I'd be one of you guys. No, but I'm good, man. You know, just working a lot, you know, trying to stay focused. I got a lot of new stuff going on, so... You know, just trying to stay focused mostly on music and everything else at the same time.
I feel that. You said you grew up around here?
Yeah. I was born and raised in Naples, Florida. Like I told y'all earlier, man, like my whole family, my family's family, everybody born and raised in Naples. You know, farthest I ever been north of here was Tennessee before I traveled. So. Damn. Yeah, man.
And how was traveling? You told us a little bit about it, but
yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience, man. Like I never been on a plane before. You know, being born and raised here, you know, I feel like for everybody that's born and raised in this general area, unless traveling is your goal, you don't really do a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're just obligated to different things. But, you know, riding a plane for the first time, really not interested in hurtling through the air at like 700 mile an hour. You know, it doesn't interest me, but it did happen. I went to Oregon. It was beautiful, but I took a bus all the way back because I didn't want to fly again. I just wasn't, like I said, I wasn't interested in it. Yeah. And man, the things I saw on a Greyhound bus for 5 days across the country is almost, it's hard to put into words actually. Yeah, it's very different.
So what was the travel? What was the bus route?
It was, we left Eugene, Oregon and went south all the way down to Los Angeles and then hooked east all the way across like the lower part of the United States, across like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, you know, Alabama, Louisiana, into Florida, and then all the way down into Miami, and then across. So I was like, when I was in Miami, I was just done. Like, it was like, it was the morning of the 5th day. Like, you don't sleep on one of them buses. You got weird people trying to talk to you all the time. Just crazy stuff. I gave, like, half my clothes away in L.A. because I was sick of carrying them. I was like, you can just have this, take it from me. People were, like, running up, like, oh, thanks, man. That's crazy.
How long ago was that?
I got back the beginning of this year. So just like right before New Year's, like right around Christmas actually.
Damn. And how long were you gone for?
About a year. Damn. Yeah, about a year. You know what I'm saying? Wow. It was a good experience though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for somebody who was like born and raised here, you know, I saw a mountain, like crazy woods and shit. I know, like other people hearing that, like, you saw a mountain. Like, yeah, I saw a mountain. You know, like for me, that's crazy. You know?
Some people here live their whole life, never see a mountain, never see snow.
Yeah, I saw snow. That's about the time that I left because I was like, I can't do that. Like, you know, I don't do that either. But it was a trip, man, for sure.
Damn, hell yeah, bro. So you said you've been doing music for 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, man. 10 years.
Where did it all start? Like, what were your like first sort of like musical projects?
I had this homeboy. I call him Mad Dope. That's what I call him. But his name's Lucas, man, and we go back probably, I was in 6th grade, I think he was in 7th grade. For the first year of our friendship, he didn't even know my name, but it was like my only homeboy. He actually called me George instead of Jay because he didn't know my name. Like, he would come to my house and call me George. My parents like, why and I'm like, just don't worry about it. You know, it's my homie. So, but me and him were just having a conversation one day, just kicking it, walking to the bus stop in the morning. And I just asked him, I'm like, you ever heard what freestyling is? And he's like, yeah, that's where like people like rap, right? I'm like, yeah, but you make it up like on the spot, you know? And he was like, no, I was like, we should try that, you know? So every morning or every afternoon, whenever we would see each other, that's what we would do. Like, we would just practice and practice and practice. And this went on like foolishly for like 4 or 5 years, you know? Like every time we saw each other, it's just what it was. We saw each other nearly every day, you know? So over time, like that habit formed. Just a love for it grew, a passion for it, you know, and it just kept evolving, you know.
Yeah, so I don't know what time period that was, but who were some of the dudes you looked up to in that genre at that time?
Well, starting out, my biggest musical influence is actually the original Strange Music, which is Tech Nine, Chris Calico, and Cut Calhoun. When I got my first tattoo, I was like 14. We can get out of that story another time, but I watched the Tech Nine's Absolute Power DVD. He put out a DVD about his like recording sessions with making this album and just the entirety of the development of this album. And I was watching that, and he was recording a track on there called Slacker, and he's like in the studio just getting it. And I'm like, you know, this is already like I'd say 2 or 3 years into making music, you know, and like I was like I could do that. Like I know in my brain that I can do that. Like that's sick, you know. So as far as a big influence, that was probably it. And also things like even ICP, Twisted, like things like that on the darker side of everything. Those have been my dudes like the whole time. That's the music I always gravitated towards.
Hell yeah. Yeah, me and Danny usually ask, like, at what point, because all this stuff we do starts out as just, like, fun, passion, you know what I'm saying? But at some point, you like, make the stand where you're like, all right, this is what I'm going to fucking do. Was there, like, a certain point in this whole, like, stretch that you realized that?
I would say that the first time that I was actually like, man, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to commit to this. I don't know if you guys remember. You probably do. Do you remember, like, that 239 takeover with, like, Johnny Raw and this other cat named Fresh Eve? And it was like this huge, I guess it wasn't that huge if I ain't heard about it, but in Naples, it was like this huge little event that this one dude, Johnny Raw, put together, this white dude, you know? And he put all this money into like promo and like all this like and had a bunch of artists, and they performed at Zookie's, like the first and only show that was ever at Zookie's on Immokalee Road. And we do a show there, you know, and like he obviously goes up first and he's on stage for literally like an hour and a half, you know, and then he has like 10 or 12 other artists who get on, you know what I'm saying? And no offense to them, they just weren't like, it wasn't a good venue. First of all, they didn't have good equipment, and secondly, I feel like their overall like ambition to even perform just wasn't present, you know what I mean? So long story short, after everybody got done with their little thing, I got told like, all right man, you can go on stage now, you know. I didn't have anything with me, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have nothing. So, and everybody was starting to clear out of the place anyway, you know what I'm saying? All the lights kept turning on, you know what I'm saying? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and they let me on stage, bro, and I just killed it, like a verse that I had been working on for, I don't know, probably a month or two, you know? And I just got that shit. And one thing led to another, man. And like, as soon as I was done, I looked around and everybody's jaw was just like, because they actually heard me, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't banging music all over the place. Like, all the lights were on. People just got a chance to, like, hear me. And after that, I walked off stage, and this cat, his name's Ace, man. I still mess with him to this day. And that was a long time ago. He grabbed me and he's like, bro, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are I? I told him, and I was like, I'm Jay Saint, man. And ever since then, like, he lives in Immokalee. And a lot of people don't get the opportunity to even go to Immokalee, you know what I'm saying? Or know somebody in Immokalee. It's just a weird dynamic over there. But, you know, he's also a strong person to this day that always kept me motivated to everything. But it was that show that really got me like, I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. How often have you performed since then?
Well, I probably had maybe 20 some odd shows since that time. Most of my shows have actually been in like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach. Nothing major, just things that I could line up, you know. What I've been mainly focusing on this entire time is really mastering my craft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's something that just me as an artist, I like to perfect what I'm working on before I just throw it out. You know what I'm saying? Because you're perceived by the image that you portray. You know, reputation is everything. So.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Looking at like the bigger picture, are you like you don't care, or are you trying to have everything independent, or are you like looking? You wouldn't mind a label signing you?
Well.
Because some people have a strong opinion about that.
Yeah, they do, and I feel like that strong opinion. I don't want to say for everybody, but I feel like generally that opinion comes from inexperience of either one or the other. You know, building your own label, that's hard work. You know, like you have to first of all have income coming in. Like you can't just say, all right, I'm going to start a label. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You have to have people generating your name already. You have to have artists that want to be on your label to begin with, or people that you're messing with doing shows and creating a buzz with their music. Mm-hmm. I have thought about starting my own label. I've also thought about if a label offers me something, how to be educated on what they are offering and what I could possibly gain out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't understand both of those things, you're either going to be like, oh, I'm going to get a label. I want all this money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you don't understand that's their money they give to you. You know what I'm saying? If you do it independent, that's your money, but you just got to be smarter about it, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So as far as the answer to the question, I'm not opposed to either one. Yeah. We'll just see what kind of deals hit the table, and if I'm already generating something that's big enough where I can just stay afloat by myself, then I can do that too.
Hell yeah. I feel that. This might have changed like over your years of creating music and harnessing your craft and whatever, but have you noticed a difference? Because it seems like you write pretty heavy, like with your verses and stuff. You spend a lot of time on the rhymes and the actual written verse aspect of the music. Do you notice any big difference between creating a song just on paper and then whenever you go to like perform it or sing it? Is that something you kind of do the whole process, or do you like finish a whole verse and then go to sing it and have to adjust it, or are you kind of doing both at the same time?
No, what I do is like I do both at the same time. So my writing process, generally, I'll pick a few beats out, probably like 4 or 5 at a time, and then I just, for like 3 or 4 days, I won't listen to any music that has words in it. None. I will listen to those beats, and I will think about just the rhythm, the pattern of what I'm hearing. You know what I mean? And probably like the 3rd or 4th day, I just start writing. I'll pick a beat and I'll be like, this the one, you know? But as I'm writing it, I'll stop every 4 or 5 bars and just like rehearse. Bam, rehearse, you know? And like, so by the time I'm done with the verse, I don't have to look at the paper. You know what I'm saying? I can just, I'm already there. Yeah. So, and then I treat each song that I write just like that. I rehearse them. So when I go to the studio, which shout out to my studio, Bay 8, they're amazing, bro. Anybody should look them up and go there. But when I go to the studio, they're rehearsed. I ain't got to look at my phone. I give my engineer, Nando, whatever I'm working on, I'm like, play that. I go in the studio, I go in a little booth, and it's done. You know what I'm saying? Some of my best work has been knocked out in like 20 minutes. Where like other songs, you know, you go there, you're not prepared, you spend like 2-3 hours in there, and you come out with this half-ass like idea of something that you never touch again. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Man, that's a good way of like doing things.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
If you always prepared, you ain't got to get ready. You know what I'm saying? You always prepared. So.
Yeah, and you got to think like as an artist, you're looking for a team of people, like whether an engineer or someone to produce your beats or whatever. You're looking for a team to do their shit on point so that you can make the song. But when you go to the studio, they're wanting you to do the same thing. When they go to engineer your song, if you just have all these like choppy verses, you kind of got harnessed and whatever, that's gonna be way more work on them. But if you both just are on point, then that studio session, like you said, is just in and out.
It's real smooth. You know what I'm saying? And you know what you said about the team too, is. For some reason, I just feel like I'm blessed when I go to different studios because I always meet that one engineer who knows exactly what I need without me ever saying anything. Wow. Like Nando and the one I had before him, Roman, I would be like, yeah, man, but it needs to sound like, and they'd be like, and I'd be like, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what it needs to sound like, you know?
Hell yeah.
And Nando's done that the whole time, you know, having a good team, and even, you know, having a good team is important, but even having enough avenues to go out and have like more than a team or a team in different places, that's smart too, because now every city that you go to, you have a studio that you can go to with a reliable engineer, a reliable promotion team if that's what you're interested in having. You know what I'm saying? Like all of those things are reliable sources, you know. So it's smart to have a good team. It's smart to have more than one.
That's a good point. So Bay 8 is out of Miami, and then is Nando. He's there.
He's employed by Bay 8. Oh. Bay 8 is multi-platinum plaque winning. You know, when Rolling Loud was there, I'm not sure necessarily who it was, but there was a couple different SUVs that pull up. You know, security gets out the whole 9, walks the building, blah blah. And there were some like younger rappers. You know what I'm saying? That from what I could see, because they got cameras in your session, so you can see who's walking around in the hallways. Or like just who's even in the parking lot, you know, so you know. But it's an amazing place, man. Like literally 5-star quality, 10 out of 10.
That's sick.
Yeah.
How often do you make it down there? How often do you hit Bay 8?
I haven't been down there in probably like the last 2.5, 3 months. I just found out I'm gonna be a father, so
wow.
Yeah, it took a little time.
Congrats,
to like just reevaluate my plans. So yeah, thank you though.
Because now you're building your team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm building my unit. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro, absolutely.
So the song, I know you recorded the 2 songs you released, Pay Attention, and what's the most recent one? Make It Count?
Made It Out.
Made It Out, that's it.
Made It Out.
Were those 2 both recorded through Bay 8?
Yeah, absolutely. Both of those. Pay Attention started out as a producer named M Stacks. He's produced for Juicy J from 3 6 Mafia, Ritz, and a handful of other real big name artists. You know what I'm saying? He hit me in the DMs and was like, "Hey man, you know your music's fire. I wanna bless you with an opportunity." I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "I'll go ahead and give you one of my beats for $200. I want to see what you got." You know what I'm saying? And in turn, I'll do such and such as far as promotion goes. I said, "Bet." So I hit him real quick, and he sent me like 2 books of like different beat snippets. You know what I'm saying? And they were all fire. Like it was so hard to pick just one. I was like, "Dang, man, it's crazy." But excuse me. I decided on one, and I'm not sure I think it was called, the beat might have been called Pay Attention as well. But the whole Pay Attention concept came back when I really got back into music as far as social media goes.
Yeah.
That was like my slogan, per se, when I first came back, was Pay Attention. So he was like, "Let me see what you got." So that kind of morphed into like, okay, pay attention, you know what I'm saying? Like, now that I have your attention, what do you say now? You know, and that's how the whole writing process, especially for that one, really took that whole rehearsal role for like the real first time. And then Made It Out was also engineered by Nando, and that beat came from a producer out of Las Vegas named Young Poet Beats. He's a young cat, but he's fire. Everything he's got is fire. So look them up, M Stacks and Young Poet Beats.
Fuck yeah, dude. So you got any more more basic questions? I have more like technical music stuff.
Yeah, to get back a little bit, like in high school or anything, did you play any sports or have any hobbies beside
No, man.
music?
When I was in high school, I was a mess, bro. My high school time was spent, like, all of 9th grade really was spent in, like, juvenile programs and DJJ. I was just reckless. I like to express myself.
Yeah, I feel you.
And, but there, like, in those situations, that's when rapping really grew, too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if prior to that, but my high school didn't have, like, little freestyle circles when I got there, but when I left, they did. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just something that we all did. You know, everybody did it. So it really grew there. But as far as high school, man, I tried to get into football. You know, like my pops couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? Try to get into wrestling. You know, pops couldn't afford it. It's different priorities. You know what I'm saying? It's just. But I always. The other side of that, you know, when you're not doing sports and I feel like you don't have that discipline like I didn't necessarily have and what I was like reaching for, you live life in a different way. But the life that I lived definitely made me always go back to my music in the way that anything I talk about or the things that I express or portray, it all comes from a very real place because of not having that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel you.
Hell yeah. And you
That's
see,
nice.
like, not to say that like money, like, you know, money can be what you make of it, you know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to practicing art and stuff like that, whether you're like painting or videography or music or anything like that, if you can't, like, I've seen people who can kind of like take off pretty quick because of like things that they are able to get, you know, whether it's like a super nice camera to film skating or like, you know, they can buy the state-of-the-art softwares to like edit the shit and like make it cool and whatever. But like I've noticed sometimes those people who like have that sort of like I don't want to call it like a leg up or whatever, but you know, like if you got money like that, you can kind of spend on the more advanced equipment. But I've noticed with those people, sometimes they like kind of take off quick because of that little boost they got, and then they don't focus as much on the craft itself. When if you got nothing, like with us with skating, like we weren't able to go out to the skate parks. We weren't able like all the time. We didn't have like the best of the best shit.
But you know how to skate.
But we were out in our driveway every motherfucking day with our splintery skateboard. You know what I'm saying? Bro. And it's the same with music, I feel like, where it's like you might not have the best guitar, but if you're sitting in your room trying to fucking play guitar for hours every day, you're gonna learn how to play once you get that good guitar, bro. And that's why I feel like what you said with the show, like when you stepped up there, you didn't have a lot prepared, but you had prepared yourself over the years of practicing music that you just spit some shit, and everyone was like, damn.
You know what? And that's a great way to put it, actually. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take all that as a compliment. So, and it really evolved, too, when it comes to music, is like, that, like I said, that moment is when I was like, really like, wow, I can really take this serious. You know what I mean? But I never really realized that this is what was going to stick with me the entire time. Like, and I guess through life you pick up different jobs or you start working different places, and you're like, you think about, man, am I going to be a box boy forever, or am I going to be a dishwasher forever, or whatever it is, And it's like the years go past, you kind of get stuck in this loop of like doubting yourself. But when it comes to making music or making art or anything, or anybody that's truly serious about it, in those down moments when they're contemplating what to do, somehow they'll always gravitate back to what they're passionate about or what their craft is. Mm-hmm. So like you said, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but if you're sitting in that room at the end of the day, and instead of running around with your homies or whatever, you sitting there trying to play the guitar, you're gonna learn, or you're outside riding skate. That was me with rapping. Every moment that I had an opportunity, period, I was rapping. My people were around me, we were rapping. Freestyling. And to the point you made with the people who have an opportunity to have better quality things, whether it be camera or even studio, you know what I'm saying? That's good. But if you don't have even a talent, you're throwing money out the window.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The noise that you make might sound pleasant to the ears, but are you saying anything, or are you wasting everybody's time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even your own. Mm-hmm. So, and me, I'm fortunate enough to start working with Bay 8. And it's not necessarily a cheap thing, it's a quality thing, but I make sure that I bring a quality product to the table as well. Yeah. I'm not in there wasting anybody's time. I pay for the time I have, and we straight slaughter shit from the time I walk in the door to the time I leave, and I'm like, I'll see you next week. You know what I'm saying? And then leave. Bro. So that's kind of how it goes.
And I've seen you've done a couple local shows, like you've performed at Rackham's. Have you performed anywhere else around here?
Let's see, around here. Before I left to go to Oregon, I performed at Dogtooth when it was belong to the previous owners. Like right when they opened it up again, they remodeled it. It was it used to be a bunch of different shit, but it's over there off Pine Ridge Road. It's like a little sports bar kind of. You know what I'm saying? It has like a little corner stage. Yeah. But to be honest with you, that was probably my favorite show though. Yeah. Yeah, that was my favorite show. Whenever I perform at Rackham's, you know what I'm saying? There's always just a lot of people at one time. And it's so diverse. The thing about a good lineup is you have artists that all positively reflect each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just an example, you know what I'm saying? If I don't know, Eminem comes out on stage and then Justin Bieber comes out on stage, you're going to be like, what concert am I at? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just two different artists, people talking about two different shit. So the audience is sitting there like, okay, I just heard this story. Now I gotta try to take in what this person is telling me. So it can get overwhelming in places like that. So, and actually back to my favorite show. I think one of my favorite shows was in Miami. I performed over for it's called Coast to Coast Live. It's like a big contest, and that was a pretty hype crowd. Like everybody was crazy in there, bro. It's pretty crazy.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and just enjoy the ads in the meantime. We'll be right back with the next half with Jay Saint. I'm sitting here with Heather Graves and Corey Graves of Into the Graves Productions, and on November 9th, they have a big event coming up, Punksgiving, and I just wanted you all to hear from them what they've got going on. What's happening?
So, November 9th at Rackham's, we are going to have Punksgiving, and it's going to be a punk show and a food drive, and we're going to have the Monsters from Outer Space, Kindly Shut Up, Offset Era, Butch Queen and the Bad Habits, Diphalia, and Warm Like Winter.
Woo!
And the Camaros. They just got added on.
And then it's a raffle type deal where, how's that work?
Yeah, so we're going to have a food drive. So if people bring 3 cans, they get a raffle ticket, and then they can win a prize. And then the food is going to get donated to Cape Vineyard, which is like right next to Rackham's. They feed the homeless. So we wanted to donate to someone that actually, did something really good.
November 9th, be there or be square. 8 p.m. is when it starts, and it's going to go all night, and it's going to be a grand old time. I'll be there, they'll be there.
two stages and a food truck too.
Yep. 2 stages, food truck, booze.
Hell yeah. Is the food truck picked out yet?
Yes.
Yeah, it's called the Hunger Station. I haven't had it yet, but I think it'll be pretty good.
Oh yeah. It's food.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of booze.
Yeah.
And a bunch of crazy shenanigans all
Two
night.
full liquor bars.
And some great bands.
Yeah.
And for a good cause.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be like all punk music, so I'm really excited about having people come from out of town too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because one of the bands is coming all the way from South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
The
Monsters
Monsters
from
from
Outer
Outer Space.
Wow.
Yeah, and like Warm Like Winter's coming from Orlando, and Butch Queen and the Bad Habits, they're from Orlando?
I don't think so. I think they're from Tampa. They might be from Orlando. I don't know.
Yeah, they're coming in though.
They're from out of town. They're driving in.
Gathering in Cape Coral. And November 9th is my birthday, so if you want to come say hi to me and see my smiling face. be
Buying
there.
drinks.
Yeah.
Come get him drinks.
Get this guy a drink.
Oh, we want this guy really drunk by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, so Punksgiving 2019. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
Not really. Just come. It's a free show.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Come
no
have fun.
excuse to not come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, see you all there. The City of Palms podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions like, how do I record an episode? How do I get my show onto all the apps people use? How do I make money from the podcast? And the answer to all this is really simple, Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. Me and Danny searched all over the internet for different outlets for distributing and recording and for websites that would host our podcast, and a lot of them you have to pay money or it's really complicated, and especially for someone just starting out. And Anchor really was an answer to all that because you can record straight on Anchor. It's very user friendly and it's totally free. We don't have to pay a penny to use this, and so it's great for anyone who's wanting to start out. And so if you're wanting to start your own podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. We're back. Hope you enjoyed those ads. I don't think we had a whole bunch this week, but we had a couple. So I got one question just to touch on kind of what we were talking about earlier with performing shows locally and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm all for kind of like maybe being off in the background for a long time to like harness your shit and then step out whenever you're ready, or like release your projects whenever you feel that they're ready. But have you considered, I mean, you've got major life things going on right now, but have you considered performing at local things, even just like open mic nights and stuff around here?
Well, yeah, I've definitely considered it, and right now that's definitely the avenue I'm really trying to touch on. However, I have the material I have out. All my songs are great in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And obviously other people like them too, but as I would really like to put out just a tad bit more of the material I have. That way, whenever I go to different venues and I have a longer set over here than I do over here, I have different show mixes that I have because I always like to have more than one.
Yeah.
That's what I always kept with me when I did the shows like about a year or 2 years ago. You know, I always had more than one show mix. You know, but definitely I'm interested in local things. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you know, due to the past couple months and everything that's been going on, juggling all that.
Yeah.
Now it's really starting to get balanced. So.
Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah, bro. Do you ever consider performing like freestyle stuff? Like just
Yeah.
I don't. There's some vibes for it around here. Like some open mics have that sort of vibe.
I would love to do that. If you would keep me posted on that, I was
gonna say I wasn't like I didn't know when exactly to say it, but
are
definitely.
they people battling? Is that what happened, or is it like you turn on the beat, somebody goes on and like?
It's more like a collaborative sort of thing where it's like because I know a handful of dudes that love to fucking freestyle, and I hope. Like, I don't know, man, I got this, like, vision in my head, of, like, because I agree, like, the music that you have put out is fucking dope, and, that's what I'm saying, there's people around here right now I think everyone's dope. You know, like everyone's doing
Yeah.
cool shit around here, but there's
Yeah.
certain people who have just started to like come into their own and just started to make stuff,
Yeah.
and you can tell that like a little bit down the road they're gonna make some really
Yeah.
dope shit.
Absolutely.
But like I just imagine you like coming out of the woodworks and just fucking blowing people out of the water
Yeah,
with your
man.
lyrics
Yeah.
and stuff.
Hey, to be honest, that's what I'm good at. It's having my whole life, man. Yeah, like you know, like growing up, one of my favorite things to hear people say was like, "Yeah, I rap too." You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be like, "Oh, do you? Let's rap then." You know what I'm saying? Like,
And see, there's people around here that like I definitely want. I was gonna say I know certain events that are currently happening or planning on happening soon. That like that it's just really cool community, bro. And
Yeah.
especially in hip hop, like Cape Coral's got a really cool like hip hop
yeah,
scene and
there's,
everything.
there's like a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
That's what that brings me back to the thing I said about Rackham's. Like, bro, they have concerts, but their concerts are massive. Like, there's so many artists. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they always bring a crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they do what the fuck they're there to do. You know. But at the same time, you know, like I generally feel like a lineup's supposed to be a little bit more like exclusive, and like in the same set tone. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. There's have you heard of Palace? It's a what is it? What's the official title? Like Palace Pub and Wine or something like that in Cape Coral. They have shows where it's more specific. Like we went to a show. I don't know if you know any of the names I'm gonna say, but dude Lutz, who we had on here, he's a very like lyrical rapper.
Yeah.
They had a show with him, and then
Yeah,
King
he's
Rock.
nice too, yeah.
King Rock also. He's very lyrical and stuff. They got similar styles, and they've done songs together. And they had a set with just them two, and it was really cool. They put that on, and it drew a certain crowd, and they did their thing on stage. And it was really dope. And a lot of those shows, like they do like. There's certain places elsewhere that have like an open mic, more like open mic type vibe where anyone could just jump up and like perform some couple songs.
Right on,
but I've noticed that those events, like once all those dudes know each other and like go every week, once it starts like getting later in the night and maybe like the like more like normal crowd starts leaving and it's more like the like hardcore hip hop fans, then they might just put on a beat and everyone will just start kind of like freestyling, rapping.
Like,
cypher, dude. Yeah, and it's sick, but it's like such a
that's
cool
dope
vibe.
though.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Like that's a great idea because I genuinely feel like that's what hip hop is. That's what rapping is.
Exactly.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like it's poetry at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And you know everybody right now with the media and everything that's going on and like just the caliber of artists that are out right now. You know they're just not necessarily on the same wavelength as like original hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just,
and like there's room for it, but it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like the roots of hip hop.
yeah, exactly. I mean, is it working? Sure.
It's making money.
Does it have substance and does it mean something? Not necessarily. You know, but people like what they're gonna like. You know, and just this cypher thing's a great idea because it's gonna bring the people that are genuinely interested in what hip hop is,
Exactly.
and those are the fans you want.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to be like the other people.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And there's this. It's a cool community, like of just like everyone wanting to support each other, and that's why like. One reason we do the podcast is because we see so many cool people that do dope shit. Like we genuinely think is like fucking cool, and a lot of people don't know about him, you know.
That's
and like
true.
I want people to know about him.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
That's
and there's
awesome.
people around here who I know would be so hyped on your shit, and I'm sure they would if they heard it. They just haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
But that's the key with music. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like people. I mean, you know, people love to see whoever they like to see right now. You know, and it's because they've had an opportunity to hear their song. It just gets caught in their head. You know, like anything else. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as that good outlet happens, where it's like a vacuum effect and it hits everybody at once. You know what I'm saying? It'll be good, man.
I'm telling you, it's gonna hit the right set of ears.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on that note, who are people like nowadays in hip hop that you think? 'Cause there's people who have been doing it for years and years, but nowadays are there people who are coming up that you're like that dude's fucking nice?
As far as coming up goes,
or like that are just popular right now.
Popular right now, there's two rappers right now that I think are they're my favorite that are out right now. And this is like because overall, like I said earlier, like Strange Music and their roster of rappers, that caliber of rapper will always be my favorite kind of artist, just because it's more relatable with me. However, I'll say the first one is probably going to be Mozzy, Mozzy. He's out of California. And he's just thugged out, bro. Like and not a lot of people know about him.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Because a lot of people, like, he's just real thug. You know what I'm saying? And, like, just listen to it. Mozzy. My favorite one's called Blackhearted. That one's really good.
Okay.
And the other one right now, actually, Kevin Gates. A lot of people probably wouldn't think that I would say that, but that's true because you just can't keep that man down, bro.
Dude, he
You
said
can't-
it himself. I heard an interview on Shade 45 the other day. He said Kevin Gates a hell of a drug.
No, he's bro in that new project, that I'm Him project he
Yeah.
has, bro. It's just like I heard about Kevin Gates. I'm not sure what year it was, but he has this track called Emotionless, and it was one of his first tracks. Like if you remember that one too, Kevin Gates Emotionless, because that's some raw rap shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's so deep. He's always been a powerful artist.
Yeah.
But me just paying attention to him, obviously from an outsider's perspective, and just seeing him grow, how intense his music has become, how different it all become, but how much of like a solid artist he's become through all of it all, even after everything that he's went through. And that's another thing I like about artists. I don't just listen to music, I listen to artists. So like I may not know what everybody else knows, but the people that I do listen to, I know an extensive amount about, because I try to relate with them not only as an artist, but as a person and a human being.
Yeah.
You know, that's what. But Kevin Gates and Mozzie, bro. Mozzie's dope. But Kevin Gates on the shit right now too, obviously.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I agree with that. Kevin Gates is ill.
Yeah. And he's a good storyteller, bro. That's another thing too, is storytellers. Mozzie's a good storyteller too.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And like you said, like they got a cool story. Kevin Gates has a pretty cool story.
Yeah,
The more
absolutely.
like interviews I hear with him and like things I learn about him, the more
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta go put that track back on. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm an interview guy too. Like I'll watch those interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like as you said, it's on Shade 45. It must be a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on just the other day.
Actually, the last one, I'm probably a little behind, but the last one I saw was with DJ Academics, and that one's good. The one with DJ Academics is really good. The name of the show's in my mind right now, but that one was really intense. I think it was like right before he was about to drop I'm Him, but it was intense, man. And that's another thing too, is the way he portrays his story, the way that he adds every detail in his story is what catches you. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing about an artist, though. So.
Yeah, he's a real one for sure.
Yep.
All right, we got a whole heavy segment at the back half. We can get into that if you want to. So I prefaced the interview by asking if you have any like ghost stories or like crazy stories or anything like that. So you can share anything you want to share.
Okay.
And we're all ears, bro.
All right. So, I guess the craziest ghost situation, or let's just call it a strange situation.
Yeah.
That ever truly happened to me was actually in Oregon, and my buddy Jake and I, we're walking through the woods. You know what I'm saying? It's really mountainous in Oregon. You know what I'm saying? Like everywhere you go is mountains. We're on the coast, like next to Brookings, right? And we're going through the mountains, and we're at this place. I forgot the name of the lake, but it's a mountain lake. Like I said, it's all elevated. And we come through like a breakout in the woods. And the tree line stops. We walk through it, and there's like look like an old fishing cabin, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Right on the water, got a little dock off the side of it. You know, and it spooked the hell out of me. Like at first I saw, like I said, I'm from here. You know what I'm saying? So I saw some shit like that, and I was like, I'm not gonna go over there. You know what I'm saying? The devil's obviously in that area. So,
Yeah.
But my buddy Jake, being the dude that he is, he's like, man, let's go check it out. I'm like, all right, fine. So we go over there, and everything's like boarded up. You know what I'm saying? And we just sit on the front porch. We, go around the corner, look at the water. Bullshit. And, like, all of a sudden, we just got this feeling like somebody else was just around the area. You know what I'm saying? Him and I are kind of, like, receptive to energy, I guess, or whatever it is. And I'm like, I look over and I see, like, just, like, a figure walking towards us, right? And as it comes closer, I see it's, like, an older guy, got regular-ass clothes on. But he's got a long-ass beard, bro. Long beard, bald-ass head. And, like, he's walking towards us. I'm like, bro, this guy walking straight up to us. Oh, mind you, it's like 11 p.m. at night. Like, 10, 11 at night. So, like, it's not, like, the broad daylight by any means. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of strange. And we're in the woods. So, seeing another person immediately put us on edge, too. You know what I'm saying? I'm already at this crazy, creepy-ass fish house with boards all over the windows and doors and shit. And then I see this guy. And I'm like, yo, man, like, what the fuck, da-da-da. Dude comes walking up closer to us, and from a distance, I can see the color of his eyes, like, from kind of far, and they were blue, bro, like, and it's dark, and I could see the color of his eyes. I'm like, man, there's something weird about this cat, bro, like, there's something weird. And he walks up, he's like, good evening, gentlemen, real polite. I'm like, good evening, sir. You know, that's how we speak to people. And he's like, he just like grabs his waist, takes a deep breath like this, and goes, nice night. And I'm like, yeah, man, it is. He's like, you guys smoking cigarettes? And I'm like, yeah, man, just smoked my last one because I wasn't about to give my last cigarette to somebody. That's when I smoke. I don't smoke no more. But I was like, no, man, just smoked my last one. He took another deep breath, took his hands off his waist, and was like, all right, you have a good night. And his eyes the whole time, while he has his hands on his waist, are just penetrating mine and Jake's eyes. Like, and it, like I said, they're the craziest blue, bro. Like, he was looking beyond our souls, like into our whole bodies. Like, I can, like, even now it kind of gives me goosebumps. And he turns around, walks not the way that he came from, but around, like, the house was like long in the front. Like, here's the porch. We're sitting right here. And around the corner of this corner right here is a lake. Okay? There's nowhere besides that lake. It's an empty field and then tree line over there and a lake right here. He walks to the end of the house, takes a right, walks around the corner, and I look at my buddy Jake and I'm like, bro, there ain't nothing over there. Like, what is this guy doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, should we go look? I'm like, yeah, man, let's, like, we have to. Like, what is this man doing, you know? And bro, I shit you not, we walk around that corner, that guy was not there.
What?
He was not there. Like, and bro, I turned around, I literally ran, like, away from, and he's a lot taller than me, Jake is. So, like, he was running, he passed me. And I was like, I'm sick of this place, da-da-da. But yeah, man, he walked around the corner, gone. Wow. Gone, bro. Like, there wasn't a ripple on the water, there wasn't, like, and like I'm saying, it was an empty field. Like, we looked. Nothing. And the dude came out of nowhere. He didn't even come from the same spot in the woods that we came from. Like, and I think about it, I try to remember, like, his clothes or whatever. He looked normal to me. He just had a long-ass beard, like a long gray beard, probably, like, to the middle of his chest, and the bluest, craziest eyes I've ever seen, bro. That's probably the scariest ghost thing that has ever happened to Jay Saint as a human being.
Oh my! How'd the rest of that night go?
It was horrible. Okay, let me also add that outside of that terrifyingly horrendous situation, I was walking through the woods in the fucking pitch black, and the woods there aren't like woods here. Like
they were
like
woods.
Yeah, those are, yes, exactly. That's the best way to put it. They're woods, and I stopped. Like, we're walking through the woods. You know what I'm saying? We're from Florida, so we think we know where the hell we're going. And I stop, and I'm like, I know I step on the tree trunk because I feel like just the softness of it, and I'm like, I hear this buzzing, like just like zzz, just like that. And I'm like, yo. He stops, he turns around, and I'm like, you hear that? He's like, bees! Bro, in the dark, okay? We take off. He takes off one way, starts zigzagging. I'm trying to follow his gigantic tall ass, and I can't. You know what I'm saying? So I start running my way. We're in the woods in Oregon, okay? Like, we have to stay on the trail or else you get lost. It's dark. We just saw Satan at the fish house, okay? And I'm like running through, and I'm like, okay, the bees obviously aren't affecting me, so I stopped. And my boy Jake ran completely the opposite direction of where I was. So for the next, like, 35, 40 minutes, we're yelling at each other, trying to find each other. I thought I was going to get killed by a bear or Sasquatch. And I was like, I finally saw Jake, and he's like, oh, let's go this way. I'm like, no, you crazy, bro. The trail's right over here. I know. I remember. And I found it. If it wasn't for me, we would have been dead. Yeah, it was horrible.
Insane, bro.
Horrible night.
Dude, the woods alone are scary, dude. Despite like seeing someone or like whatever, like that's dangerous.
And I'm not from there. I'm from here. You know what I'm saying? Our wood, we got pine trees and sawgrass. It's like, that's all we got. You know, some alligators and shit, some bears, I guess. But Oregon, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the fuck's out there.
Grizzly bear type shit.
Yeah, for real.
Holy
yeah, it was terrifying. Terrifying.
That was a good story, bro.
Yeah, bro. That old guy really. To this day, like, I think about it, and I'm just like, you know, like, it was terrifying. His eyes were just like, he looked down to the pit of your soul, like, past it. It was just bad. Dude. Not a good guy. Or whatever he was.
Yeah, you can't explain it, bro.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Definitely not explainable.
Dude. All right, we usually reserve the last little bit for, like, shout-outs. Like, you can shout out whatever you want. We'll shout out our stuff. But before that, I actually forgot. There's a couple more things I wanted to ask you.
What's up?
So, your hashtags on social media, you have similar ones, like warpath, is that one of them? And,
yeah.
And what was the other one? I wrote it down.
Sanctum.
Hey,
Are those
I was
just
hoping you say that one.
Are those linked to anything, or are they just cool words you like to hash? Because you got warpath on your head. Right?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah. So warpath as a whole, I got that tattoo when I was like 21, so a few years back now. To be on the warpath means to be aggressively dedicated and motivated to whatever your goal is. You know what I'm saying? When you hear the phrase "someone's on the warpath," it can either be translated to like that he's very angry right now, or like he's coming to get what's his. That's kind of how I take it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what warpath means to me. That's something that people are gonna see build. Like that, just that word by itself, as far as like who Jay Sane is as an artist, warpath is gonna be something that definitely grows with him in a bunch of different ways. You know what I'm saying? So that's always gonna stay. And also sanctum, the way I spell it. SAINCTUM. That is also going to grow. Seriously, with Jay Saint, we touched on, whether I wanted to own a label. I wanted to join a label. You know what I'm saying? If Sanctum Records, let's just say you're going to see things grow. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck
so
yeah, dude, you're on the warpath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So yeah, both of those things, man, they're definitely going to stay with Jay Saint for as long as Jay Saint is.
Yes, and then there was one more thing. You can, if you had any other things you want to touch on, you can ask after. But I just have one more thing. Is in Miami, you did a contest. It was called Coast to Coast Live Showcase.
Yeah, Coast to Coast Live.
And like, I just want to know about that.
Actually, I was on Instagram, and I was just scrolling through my feed one day. I saw like an ad. It might have been reshared, but it might have been on Twitter too. Could have been on Twitter, but it was just reshared, and Coast to Coast Live, opportunity to win $50,000. You know what I'm saying? First place. I was like, shit, I can get first place. But so I signed up. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, when you join a competition, there's fees and stuff you gotta pay. You gotta enter this. You gotta have all your stuff prepared and da. And they have a bunch of different ones, like all over the United States. And what happens is you go to phase 1, which is remotely next to your city somewhere. Like for us, it's Miami, or it could be Tampa if I wanted to go there. But they have a showcase where whatever artist paid to perform that night, like for instance for me it was kind of extensive. There was probably 15 artists. You know what I'm saying? So the show started at 9. We didn't get out there until like almost 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Waiting on the placement of everything.
Yeah.
There was people that drove from Alabama, bro. There was this one kid drove from, where was it? Oklahoma?
Wow, that's a drive.
Yeah, bro. All just to be in this, you know what I'm saying? And some of those people didn't even place. They didn't even place, so all the people that came, I actually got third place. Would you move to the finals? 1 through 5 moves to the finals, but you got like some cash prize. You got like radio promo if that's what you're interested in. You know what I'm saying? It was like a bunch of different promo packages, studio packages. I got to meet with an A&R from Atlantic Records, so it was a good experience. You know what I'm saying? Like definitely knowledgeable. A great outlet for any artist that wants to definitely perform. Just know that you're gonna pay to be in a competition. So be prepared, be mindful. You know what I'm saying? Be passionate and definitely do it if that's what you're aiming towards.
Damn, what was the vibe like? Like, what was the performance vibe like? I wonder.
It was live, bro. Everybody came there and like knew they were gonna compete. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody there had a lot of passion. Probably one of the best shows that I've seen. Cause like I know a lot of times, like just as an artist, when you go to a live show, you're critiquing everything that's happening on stage. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. I feel like it's hard. Well, me personally, I'll just speak for myself. It's hard for me personally to like sit there and not critique what's happening on stage, because I feel like if it was me, I'd be doing this and this. But that's just me being an imperfect person, I guess.
Yeah.
But that it was live, bro. Everybody was like, even if the song wasn't put together well, the energy was crazy. Everybody was cheering each other on. You know what? This cat, this like, I don't want to say nerdy because it sounds mean, but like this quiet, timid, nerdy individual walks in with a saxophone. No unit with him. Nobody. Don't say nothing to nobody. Sips a water bottle all night. Gets on stage. Bro, plays the shit out of this saxophone and then kills it rapping. Gets off stage like it ain't shit. Sits back by himself. Everybody was like, everybody cheered him on when he was done. You know what I'm saying? But when he got on stage, like you could hear the crowd like, oh, this, you know what I'm saying? This stupid ass. Bro, he got second place.
What?
He got second place, bro. And he was like, I was like, damn, he should have won first. I was like, ain't nobody, everybody, like all the DJs, everybody took out their phones. Like, this kid fucking killed it, bro. I was so impressed. I actually hit him up after the show, and I was like, bro, you're a boss. Like, one day you and I will make a song. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a boss, bro. He was a boss.
Hell yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it was a dope experience, man. Coast to Coast Live. They're all good people. They got great DJs. They got great judges. DJ Quest from 105.5, he was there. You know what I'm saying? Chopped it up with him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just touch base on what was going on. I hit the stage. I finished my set, and he's like, where you from? I was like, yeah, I'm from that side. He's like, why do I not know who you are? I was like, well, you know now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know right now. So, but he's a great dude, great guy. You know, Coast to Coast Live was a great opportunity for sure.
Sounds like it, bro. That's sick.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Yeah, it was a great time.
So before we get into anything else, you have warpath tattooed on your head?
Yeah,
That's
I do.
fucking sick,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. You can't see it because I have hair probably, but I have
No, I can see it. That's sick.
I have warpath on that side, and I have a raven
What?
on that side.
Yeah, it's tight.
Dude, did that hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, that hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. So the funny story with that is,
Yeah.
when I was like, let's just say like 21 or 22, I was like, I have a bunch of tattoos. I started young. I started getting tattoos when I was like 14, and like I said, I just kept getting them. I got a lot of them, and I was like, damn, bro, like, I really want to tattoo my neck, but if I'm gonna tattoo my neck, I'm gonna tattoo my fucking head, because I didn't see nobody at the time with a head tattoo. That was my age anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So, and I had long hair. I actually had dreads at the time, and I'm not bullshitting. Like, I was totally dedicated to this tattoo. I took my dreads, I just poured conditioner in my hair, and I literally pulled them apart. Like, all of them. And, like, brushed my hair. Like, tried to save my hair the least little bit that I could. And then I, like, shaved, like, the sides and back of it, and I had that stupid-ass ponytail thing for, like, a while. But that's when I tattooed my head. So I tattooed my head on, like, a Tuesday night, and I was like, shit, I didn't do my neck. So Wednesday morning, I went back, and we tattooed my neck. And then I got terribly sick, because your body's not supposed to do that. Yeah, your body's not supposed to take all that pain at one time. But that was like, I was like 21, 22 when I got warpath. And then the other side, this side of my head, this was probably I think that was like the beginning of 2018. It was right after Hurricane Irma, so whenever that was. It was like the beginning of 2018. It might have been the end of 2017. But the Raven actually represents like a lot. My heritage, my mom's full-blood Cherokee Indian, my dad's Scandinavian.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like a crazy, strange mixture. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I know that is because I did the ancestry thing, got all these results. I don't know if that's true or not. I just know what I got. You know what I'm saying? So before I get any backlash about, oh, you're not that, you don't look that, whatever. But, yeah, that's what my parents are. So the Raven, I did a lot of, like, diving into, like, that Scandinavian religion. You know what I'm saying? It's called Azatru or something like that. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's like Odin and Thor and Loki and all those things. Well, Odin has two ravens that circle the earth and bring back to him knowledge and insight of everything that's happening. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember the names right now, but that's one of them. And I have yet to get the next one, but it's just part of my heritage.
That's sick.
Fuck
Yeah, man. It's pretty dope. Yeah, but that shit hurt. Yeah, that shit hurt, bro. I mean, like, let's be real, you know what I'm saying? Tattoos don't necessarily feel great to begin with, you know what I'm saying? But, like, your eyes vibrate, your tongue vibrates, your sinus cavity, like,
Yeah, I can only imagine what it'd feel like up there, dude.
but it heals quick. Yeah, the skin up there real thick, so it heals quick. And, like, my hair grows back, you can't even see it.
That's true.
Like, in a couple weeks, you won't even be able to see. Like, you can see the back right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, on each side, but it's all good. I was like, my mom was like, why'd you do that? You tattooed your head. You know, I was like, yeah, but no one will know if I grow hair. You know what I'm saying? That was proper planning right there. I don't care what nobody says, bro. I thought that one all the way through. It's like one of the only ones.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Dude, I'm gonna say right now, bro, this is a star right here.
Hey, thank
For
you,
real.
man.
Like,
Thank you.
honestly, I think, like, if you keep up your shit and you've got good positive energy, you're a respectful dude, like, I can tell you got passion and grind, and I know that, like, if you just keep at it, bro, your name's gonna be the one that's floating.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And so for this last little bit, you can just tell anyone who's watching or listening what you've currently got going on and what they need to keep watch for. With
to all my fans, all my supporters, all my family, man, I just, first of all, I want to say thank you Thank you all so much for all the support over the years, even when I wasn't necessarily focused on music. All my ups and downs, all that stuff. Everybody who kept me encouraged, thank you so much. Shout out to Ace, shout out to Loco, shout out to my whole team, Nando and Bay 8. You know, shout out to everybody that's always supported me, man. As far as music goes, I don't want to call it an album. I have a project in the making right now that could evolve necessarily into an album. So we'll see. If you pay attention long enough, you might just find out. Anything else? I got videos coming. I got some new music coming out very, very soon. So just pay attention, man. Thank you all so much for rocking with me. And thank you guys for having me. I'm very thankful for the opportunity, man. It was dope.
Sir. Yes, sir. Thank you once again for coming on. It's been a
man.
pleasure, dude.
Absolutely. I'm glad we finally got a chance to catch up.
I know.
It's been long enough, that's for sure.
And that Instagram's the real J Saint. No
Yeah.
dots, no spaces, no nothing.
No dots, no spaces, no nothing. It's at the real J Saint. And on Twitter, if anybody got Twitter, it's JSaint17. So
For sure.
yeah, man, absolutely. Thank you guys so much, bro.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching or listening. It's been episode 33 with J Saint.
Yes, sir.
You shout out our stuff?
Yeah, you can get at us on Instagram, City of Palms Podcast. That's been going good, dude. We've been getting a lot of good feedback on that, and rate, review, tell a friend about everything going on that we got. New episodes every Monday.
And don't forget that Halloween episode bonus.
I'll let you plug
Yeah,
that.
so on the Patreon page, if you really fuck with us and you're a patron on our Patreon page, no matter what you support, if it's any dollar amount, you have access to all the content on there. And I just uploaded a 2-hour horror podcast that is me and Delaney Cornforth, special effects makeup artist, going over our favorite horror movies, and we talked for a long time because I love horror so much.
Oh, right on.
And do you like horror too?
Yeah, man.
Because bro, we gotta have you back. We'll have a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
could definitely do that,
We
man.
didn't
I'm
even
looking
touch on
forward
that
to
at
that.
all.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let you get it back.
All right, well, that was basically it. So yeah, hit him with that outro, Biscuit.
Thank you guys.